In a previous video, I spoke about the broad issues Destiny 2 faces when trying to onboard new players and retain their attention once they've begun their journey as a Guardian. I spoke about the experience initially starting the game and how it feels to get into it for free, and touched on some major points about the content vault which I think play a major part in making the game so hostile to new players. However, despite many additions to the New Light experience itself over the past 2 years, the way the actual game is introduced to new players is clunky and backwards. Let me explain. The Guardian rank system was introduced in 2023 with the Lightfall expansion. It starts at rank 1 and goes to 11.
These go to 11.
From rank 6 to 11 is pretty much just fluff, as it requires you to complete seasonal activities, dungeons and raids on higher difficulties, and some other objectives many people could achieve through nothing more than enough time. It also involves farming commendations, a social interaction system used after activities to give points to your teammates, which is only applied to the Guardian rank system and nothing else, making it kind of pointless. The main reason this system was introduced, however, was for new players to be given a structured approach to starting the game. Ranks 1 to 5 give the player an introduction to the different gameplay mechanics, locations, and activities within the game, but it does it really badly. For example, at Guardian rank 3, you are required to complete the first mission of the most recent expansion in order to progress in rank, but you must do this before you gain access to weapon or armor mods, before you gain access to loadout slots, and if you are following the quest instructions the game gives you, before you even unlock a second subclass. So, being a good new light, I hopped into the transmigration mission on my hunter with little to nothing in the way of a build, and, well...
Open as long as I can. The fate of all things rests on you. Guardian, hurry.
Okay, I guess that's it. The fate's fucked.
Like, come on! Yeah, it felt horrible. And it's also silly to see a brand new Guardian being touted as the one to save the entire universe, having only been resurrected a few hours ago in the game. And then there's the issue of Cade 6. I already touched on how the timeline missions don't adequately explain past events, but the primary issue is that the new player doesn't actually get to experience what those moments were like for themselves. We are told everything, instead of getting to do anything, but are still expected to see the emotional weight present between Cade and our Guardian when we are reunited in the Pale Heart. It just doesn't work. It's difficult to explain how integral removed content is to the terrible New Light experience, since the sheer volume of said content is known only to those players who are around for all of it, and even they don't necessarily appreciate the scale of it. So to help me illustrate it, I've made this illustration. Bear with me, this is gonna get tedious. This graphic represents all of the content releases from Destiny's launch back in 2014 to the current season, which at the time of this video is episode Revenant. Destiny 1's content is all still available to play as long as you own the expansions, so it's not relevant to the New Light experience of Destiny 2, but it will become important in a moment. Destiny 2 launched in 2017 with the Red War campaign, followed by 2 more expansions in Year 1. Year 2 released Forsaken, Black Armory, Joker's Wild, and Opulence. Year 3 gave us Shadowkeep, Seasons Undying, Dawn, Worthy, and Arrivals. Year 4 brought Beyond Light, Seasons of the Hunt, Chosen, Splicer, and Lost. Year 5 brought Witch Queen, Seasons of the Risen, Haunted, Plunder, and Seraph. Year 6 gave us Lightfall, Seasons of Defiance, Deep, Witch, and Wish, along with the Into the Light event, which was free to all players. And Year 7 gives us the Final Shape, and the rebranded seasons called Episodes, currently Episode Echoes and Revenant, with Heresy to follow in a few months. Every single release progressed the narrative of the world of Destiny, with our Guardian at the tip of the spear the entire time. That's the point, after all. We are the hero of this video game, and play the most significant role in making the story move forwards, no matter what the forces of evil throw at us. But as time goes on, more story beats require context from story beats of the past, which is fine if you're playing Destiny 1 where you can access all of it, but in D2, however, well, let's just illustrate just how much is gone. Yeah, it's quite significant. It would honestly be easier to illustrate what is left in the game, but this is a per-release illustration, not total content. And that is the point that I'm making. So many important moments that build on the world of Destiny and show us our place in it are gone, and gone forever. Even on the off chance that Bungie reintegrates vaulted campaigns, there will still be almost 24 seasons full of character development and world building that are forever out of reach. And even at the end of Year 7, the current episodic releases of Echoes, Revenant, and Heresy will also be thrown into the abyss of the content vault. This makes it all the more jarring to find Cade 6 in the Pale Heart greeting you like a long-lost friend. The awkwardness of the gameplay guide to Destiny 2 is inextricably tied to the fact that you are thrust awkwardly into a world with a fractured narrative. Gameplay and story are two sides of the same coin for Destiny, and when one is fractured, so too is the other. I mentioned in my previous video that I am not a game developer, but that I am at heart a gamer and a customer. So, with that in mind, let's talk about something tangible for every single player out there. Pricing. Looking at the Steam store, prices for Destiny's content bundles are ridiculous, and I don't just mean the total prices. Let's dive into what each bundle actually offers the player. In-game, the Dreaming City mini-campaign, Shadowkeep and Beyond Lights campaign are all free to play. However, none of the end-game activities or even the exotics from these expansions are free. You must purchase these packs to gain access to 2 dungeons and 3 raids, and over 30 exotics. But altogether, that's still €60, the price of a full game for just some of the content from over 4 years ago. The 30th anniversary pack contains a single armor set, 1 dungeon, a handful of exotics and a small number of other cosmetics, yet it costs more than the packs from the other DLCs. But just wait, it gets even better. In an effort to smooth over players' thoughts on this store page, Bungie offers bundles. The Legacy Collection grants access to all of the packs I just mentioned, as well as the Witch Queen and Lightfall standard editions, and it costs €70. Fine, 6 content packs for €70 isn't bad, but it doesn't include the dungeon keys for Witch Queen or Lightfall. Those are only available at the individual packs for those expansions, so to get everything you'd essentially have to pay for Witch Queen and Lightfall twice just to get the dungeon keys. But there is one more cherry on top of this shit pile. Bungie offers the Light and Darkness Saga, which is all of these packs combined, including the current year's expansion and season pass, for €150. But you still have the problem of not getting the dungeon keys from Witch Queen or Lightfall, so once again you would have to buy those packs as well if you wanted to get them. An easy retort for what I just said is, oh, just get them when they're on sale. Sales are not the norm. Besides, like I just said, the primary issue isn't just the number next to the currency sign. It's the fact that these content packs are constructed in such a predatory way as to squeeze as much money out of players as possible, but all the while only giving them a fraction of the content that was released from those expansions when they originally came out. Now comes the point where I make a personal disclaimer. I love the hell out of Destiny. I want to keep playing it. I want to keep enjoying it, and at the moment I do. But that doesn't mean I look the other way when I see this many things fundamentally wrong with the way the game is given to us. Since my previous video on this subject, less than 3 weeks ago, I've played a further 170 hours of D2. The gameplay loops in this game are amazingly fun. The aesthetic of the world spaces and all of the gear are brilliant. The HUD is really well designed, not being intrusive or noisy while still giving you an abundance of information about what is currently happening. The character designs and narrative hooks are excellent, and the overall tone of the game is the right balance between serious and joyous. But I can't lie either, there are parts of this game that are infuriatingly dumb. Every single time my weapon levels up, or I get a seasonal challenge, a triumph, a campaign milestone, or any other achievement, a massive watermark plays over the HUD, blocking out important information with something that just doesn't matter. And it plays a loud sound effect too, like why? Why does it do this? When my super is fully charged, it splashes the center of the screen over the crosshair, and it does this every time I leave a menu too. Why the hell can't I turn any of this superfluous nonsense off? I honestly laugh about how stupid it is nearly every time I boot up the game. But I just can't stop playing, and I don't want to stop. It's my favourite game, and no, I don't hate it. I just hate the fact that whoever is leading Bungie clearly doesn't give a continental fuck about the quality of new players' experience, and recently even whether the game functions on a day-to-day basis. So Bungie, if in the 1 in 10 billion chance one of you watches this, please, for the love of this game and its future, just return the vaulted content and let the game itself be the guide. These artificial and haphazard systems don't onboard new players, and they will never work in the place of the true beginning of the game's story. I realise that this video is much more pointed in the things that I was saying compared to my last one, because in part I gave myself more time to do it, but also because I didn't want to hide how upset it makes me that the game feels like it's falling apart at the seams. I really do want the best for the future of this game, and I think that what I want would work if it were done correctly. But I've just lost confidence that whoever is leading Bungie has the right thing prioritised for the future of this game. On that note, I would like to ask you as the viewer to tell me what you think should be done to make this game more appealing to the new blood Bungie says they need, to make the game the best it can be. Thank you all for watching.